When Alex Jones goes anywhere, there's always fireworks, but wow, now he's let loose in DC and shouting at senators that deserve to be shouted at. You know, there's all these people genuflecting and saying that you should show deference and, you know, respect these people that have done nothing to earn your respect. Well, no, you don't respect people that have done nothing to earn it. You just tolerate them, apparently. And a lot of people say things about Alex Jones like he's terrible, isn't he? But what does he do? He gets the slime to reveal itself as slime. So Marco Rubio, the slimy four-headed senator, the failure of a president, he's never heard of Alex Jones, right? So Alex Jones confronts him in this building and he says, I've never heard of you, I've never seen you. Right, so the main news story, you know, YouTube and everything kicking him off, kicking InfoWars off. Trump actually talking to Alex Jones in an interview, being famous and saying, I will not let you down. You've never heard of him. Right, so your boss is his best friend, but you've never heard of him. Right. Because you want to keep playing silly buggers, don't you, and denying it all and saying that I don't know anything about it. Oh, me? I know nothing. Of course you don't. Yeah. It's just like you were trying to be, you know, Jeb Bush's butt buddy. But he didn't want you. You didn't win. Trump won. And now you're still trying to claw your way in the establishment, denying the shadow banning has even taken place, because I don't even think he knows. You know that Twitter said that there was no shadow banning. We don't shadow ban. Because they didn't want to get caught. Because if they got caught, that would expose illegal practices, illicit activities that they were doing. The very fact that it's called shadow ban means they want to keep it in the shadows. And if you know about something that's happening in the shadows, then they're done. They're done. It was supposed to be kept to the shadows. That's why it's called shadow ban. They're not going to admit it, but now they are. Now it's a glitch. Right, so it wasn't happening before, but now it was an accident. It was a glitch. Glitch in the Matrix. Of course it was. Jack Dorsey can wriggle his way out of anything with any excuse, and we know what's what. And we also know that Marco Rubio and all of his colleagues are shadow banned, even if they don't admit it, even if they don't know about it. And most of those idiot OAP congressmen and senators don't have an effing clue about social media or algorithms or anything. Trump is the only one that's spearheaded this. He was the one that he was the trailblazer in this. You know, it's rumoured, or from what I've seen, Scuttlebutt says, you know, allegedly, Alex Jones got some sort of document to Trump, and Trump then tweeted about the censorship and the shadow banning because of Alex Jones's document that he managed to get to Trump. They were never going to talk about it otherwise. They were originally going to do like another kind of media show, you know, like the Zuckerberg trial earlier on the year. It wasn't under oath. He completely lied. He just said, "Oh, I'll get my team onto it." Yeah. Well, this time it's a bit more concrete. We know what's what. You know, it's a bit more tactile. We won't just accept, you know, oh, I'll get my team onto it. Well, we know you've been shadow banning. We know you've been racketeering the election. That's what this is about. Racketeering and stealing the election. Actually meddling in the election. They always talk about Russia. They always talk about foreign actors, etc., whether it's Russia or China. They're always talking about it in terms of countries, never in terms of cabals or secret meetings or media, you know, mafia. You know, the media, CNN, MSNBC, Washington Post, you know, New York Times, all the usual suspects from BBC, Sky in this country, etc. But in America, all the mainstream media, all the so-called liberal media is a propaganda outlet weaponizing the people. It shouldn't be broadcasting anymore. It's been called out as fake news, but some people still see it as real because they're so afraid their cognitive dissonance will not allow them to see things as they really are. That the mainstream media is there to construct narratives to keep you distracted while the New World Order and the global cabal and all their puppet masters and all the puppets that they control, you know, plunder the world and all the resources, divide us over every single lines possible through identity politics and so on, bring in terrorists, export jobs, you know, increase inequality massively. They do all this and we don't do anything about it because we're all divided fighting each other. We don't actually do anything about the source of the problem. Even though we both have in common that we don't like being censored, we don't find a commonality left and right. And it was disproportionately conservatives that were getting shadow banned and, you know, banned in general and blocked and suspended on a whim if they said something about a celebrity or whatever, you know, because they're a protected class of people, obviously, so you can't say anything about celebrities. You'll be shut off Twitter land forever. Anyone says anything about Valerie Jarrett, she's the most protected person of all. Why are these people so protected? Because they've been in power for so long, they've got such connections to powerful people, etc. What about Peter Strzok and his connections to Iran? You know, the deep state is basically all there to destroy America. It's all completely subverting and undermining everything about America and Obama, everything. You know, the reason he's staying behind, the reason he does these meetings now and these talks now is because he never was a president. He was always an agitator. He was always a community organizer, which is basically a socialist agitator, following the Saul Alinsky playbook to the letter. But now we've got Trump in. We got Trump in. They didn't get him in. It wasn't a selection process, and he's not lying. Trump has kept his promises on so many things. The economy, you know, all the jobs coming back, etc. And because of those promises kept, The Democrats are worried. They're worried they're not going to get elected again. They're never going to be empowered again, unless they bring someone like George Clooney into the fold, which they haven't even announced yet, but I think they're going to do that. He works for the UN, he works for the CFR, and why wouldn't they? He's Hollywood, he's universally liked by everyone, why wouldn't they? He's charismatic, he's exactly like a white version of Obama, why wouldn't they? In this time in history when identity politics isn't working and you can't just run a woman or a black woman or whatever, why wouldn't they? George Clooney would win and would restore the globalist hegemony control of America. You know, he would actually just be the puppet, just like Obama was, reading from teleprompters to usher in the New World Order, which we're already all living in, by the way, but the newer world order. Because, of course, there is no order in the world, it's all complete chaos. But it's masquerading as order, just like the Illuminati are actually about staying in the darkness when they're masquerading as light. Everything is backwards. That's why the world is Orwellian now, because peace is war and freedom is, you know, strength, or ignorance is strength and freedom is... Oh, I can't even remember the whole thing. Everything's backwards, that's my point. So in a world where everything's backwards, someone tells you Alex Jones is mad. Don't listen to him, he's mad. Right, okay, so you worship the president who drops drone bombs every minute or something, and then he shakes children's hands, signs a plastic drone bomb, like a sort of bomb that some child had in Ireland when he visited there, signed it with his signature. The same day he'd actually been dropping real bombs on real children. That's how mad a world we live in. You know, you can lose your job. If you criticise the burqa in this country, you can lose your job, you can lose your career. They've managed to ban the burqa in Islamic countries. We're worse than an Islamic country. That's how mad the world is. We've got people being torn apart in Germany and destroyed, and, you know, 10,000 residents are not happy with it. Oh, we're not happy with the direction our country's taken. We've lost our national safety, for a start, and, you know, interest and identity, etc., secondly. But of course then the mainstream media mafia machine comes out and says that these people, these 10,000 people, 50,000, however many of them, they're all far right. They're all represented by these one or two people with swastikas. They're all neo-Nazis. All of them need to go, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, the left organises their stupid counter-concert, because that is obviously more political, isn't it? You have to have a stupid concert with lots of virtue signalling to get any attention from leftists, because they're such fucking morons. I tell you what, this is why people hate the left. Because of their pious attitude, because of their holier than thou, I must be right about tolerance, oh, only I can have tolerance, oh, only I can have scientific facts. No, you can't, leftist, and people are leaving you in droves. Maybe that's why they call it the left, because we've left you.